The Retribution dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Proxima Centauri system, its sensors immediately scanning for Kaleth ships. Captain Nam Soo-jin stood on the bridge, watching the displays as her crew worked to identify their first target. After weeks of travel, they had finally found what they were looking for. 3 ships, Captain, reported Lieutenant Commander Park Gi-tae from his tactical station. Standard Kaleth patrol formation. They're broadcasting identification signals that match our database records. Commander Shin Bo-young studied her navigation display. They're holding position near the outer planets, probably conducting deep space scans. Looking for signs of the missing warship, I'd guess. Perfect, Soo-jin said quietly. They have no idea what happened to their missing ship, and they certainly don't expect it to come hunting them. Dr. Yu Si-ram was monitoring Alex's responses from her station. The alien AI's crystal displays were pulsing with patterns that she had learned to read as excitement, mixed with determination. Alex is analyzing their formation, Captain. It says the patrol commander is following standard Kaleth tactics, which makes them predictable. Lieutenant Ryu Jung-min was already calculating firing solutions. Captain, our quantum disruptor cannons have enough range to hit them before they can respond. But if we want to maintain our deception, we need to get closer. Then that's what we'll do. Soo-jin turned to her communications officer. Send standard Kaleth identification signals. Tell them we're the warship Veltar returning from a scouting mission with damage to our communication systems. The Retribution moved slowly toward the Kaleth patrol, broadcasting the identification codes they had recovered from the ship's original database. To the enemy ships, they appeared to be exactly what they claimed. A damaged Kaleth warship limping home from a mission. They're responding, Captain, the communications officer reported. The patrol commander is ordering us to maintain distance while they scan for damage. Let them scan, Soo-jin replied. They'll see exactly what we want them to see. Chief Engineer Hong Dae-hyun had prepared for this moment. Working with Alex, he had programmed the ship's systems to show false damage readings to any Kaleth scanners. The enemy would see a ship with failing power systems and damaged weapons, a vessel that posed no threat to anyone. The lead Kaleth ship, a sleek destroyer twice the size of any human vessel, approached cautiously. Its commander was clearly suspicious but not alarmed. War Prince Veloth had been fighting the rebellion for 3 years, and damaged ships limping back from battles were a common sight. Unknown vessel, came the transmission from the Kaleth ship. You will submit to boarding and inspection. Your ship does not match our patrol records. Now we have a problem, Park Gi-tae muttered from his station. If they board us, they'll discover what we really are. No, Soo-jin said calmly. Now we have an opportunity. They're coming to us instead of keeping their distance. Alex, are you ready? The AI's lights pulsed in what Dr. Se-ram recognized as eager agreement. Alex had been waiting for this moment, the chance to prove that human ingenuity combined with alien technology could defeat the empire that had built it. The Kaleth destroyer moved closer, preparing to dock with what it believed was a crippled warship. The other 2 ships in the patrol held back, ready to provide support if needed but not expecting trouble. Range, 2,000 meters and closing, reported Jung-min from the weapons station. Wait, Soo-jin ordered. Let them get comfortable. The seconds stretched out as the enemy ship approached. On the destroyer's bridge, War Prince Veloth was growing more suspicious. The damaged ship wasn't responding to his communication attempts, and something about its energy reading seemed wrong. 500 meters, Jung-min reported, his finger hovering over the firing controls. Still too far. Let them dock. Captain, Park Gi-tae said urgently. If we let them dock, their boarding party will discover us immediately. I'm counting on it. Soo-jin watched the tactical display as the destroyer moved into docking position. The moment their airlocks connect, they'll drop their shields for the boarding operation. That's when we strike. The plan was risky beyond measure, but it played to humanity's greatest strength, the willingness to gamble everything on a single moment of opportunity. Docking clamps engaged, reported the engineering station. Their shields are down, now, Soo-jin shouted. The Retribution revealed its true nature in a burst of devastating firepower. The quantum disruptor cannons hidden within the ship's hull emerged and fired at point-blank range. The energy beams tore through the destroyer's unshielded hull like it was made of paper. At the same time, Jung-min launched a spread of human-designed missiles at the other 2 Kaleth ships. The aliens had never seen weapons that could change course in mid-flight, guided by advanced targeting systems that predicted their evasive maneuvers. War Prince Veloth had exactly 3 seconds to realize he had been tricked before his ship exploded around him. The destroyer came apart in a brilliant flash of light, its reactor core breached by the alien weapons that had been turned against their creators. The second Kaleth ship managed to raise its shields and return fire, but its commander was thinking like a Kaleth warrior, expecting his enemy to fight honorably. Instead, the Retribution did something no Kaleth ship would ever do. It rammed the enemy vessel while its shields were still active. The impact should have destroyed both ships. Instead, Alex had calculated the exact angle and speed needed to punch through the Kaleth shields without fatally damaging the Retribution. The alien ship crumpled under the impact, its hull buckling as the much larger human vessel drove through its defenses. The third ship tried to escape, broadcasting desperate warnings about a rogue Kaleth vessel attacking the patrol. The transmission lasted exactly 15 seconds before Youngmin's missiles found their target. All enemy ships destroyed, Park Gitai reported, his voice filled with amazement. Total engagement time, 47 seconds. Damage report, Sujin ordered. Minor hull damage from the ramming attack, Chief Engineer Hong reported. The hybrid armor held up perfectly. Alex is already rerouting power to repair systems. Dr. Se-Ram was studying the AI's responses. Captain, Alex is displeased. It says the engagement went exactly as calculated. The Kaleth fought predictably, just as human military history suggested they would. The victory was complete, but Sujin knew it was just the beginning. Communications, did any of those ships manage to send a warning before we destroyed them? Negative, Captain. We jammed their transmissions from the moment we opened fire. Good. That means the main Kaleth fleet still doesn't know what happened to their patrol. We can use that. She turned to her navigation officer. Bo-young, where's the next closest Kaleth force? According to our intelligence, there's a supply convoy 3 systems away. 5 ships, including 2 heavy transports. Set course. We're going hunting. The next engagement was even easier. The Kaleth supply convoy was expecting to meet the destroyed patrol for a routine transfer of supplies. When the Retribution appeared broadcasting the patrol's identification codes, the convoy commander didn't suspect anything until the shooting started. This time, Sujin used different tactics. Instead of revealing their true nature immediately, they transmitted a fake distress signal claiming they were under attack by rebels. The convoy ships moved to assist, grouping together in a defensive formation that made them perfect targets for the quantum disruptor cannons. It's almost too easy, Youngmin observed as they watched the last convoy ship explode. They're so used to being the strongest force in any engagement that they don't know how to react when someone outsmarts them. Don't get overconfident, Sujin warned. Word of these attacks will eventually reach their main commanders. They'll start adapting their tactics. She was right. The third engagement against a Kaleth reconnaissance squadron was much harder. The enemy commander had received fragmentary reports of patrol ships going missing and had his ships spread out in a defensive formation. When the Retribution tried its usual deception, the Kaleth ships immediately opened fire. The battle lasted over an hour and pushed the hybrid systems to their limits. Chief Engineer Hong watched his displays with growing concern as alien components began overheating under the strain of prolonged combat. Captain, we can't sustain this level of engagement much longer, he reported. The quantum disruptor cannons are operating beyond safe parameters, and the hybrid reactors are showing stress fractures. Just a few more minutes, Sujin replied, watching as Youngmin coordinated a complex missile attack that finally broke through the enemy formation. When the last Kaleth ship exploded, the Retribution was running on backup power and streaming atmosphere from a dozen hull breaches. But they had won, and more importantly, they had learned something crucial about their enemy. They're starting to adapt, Park Gitai observed as they reviewed the battle recordings. That last commander didn't fall for our deception. He was ready for us, which means our hunting season is about to get a lot more dangerous, Sujin replied. But we've proven something important. Human tactics combined with alien technology can defeat the Kaleth Empire. Now we just need to stay alive long enough to make it matter. The message arrived on a Tuesday morning when most of Earth was still asleep. It came not through radio waves or quantum channels, but burned itself directly into the minds of every human leader across the planet. Presidents, prime ministers, generals, and admirals all received the same terrifying vision at the exact same moment. 12 alien faces stared down at them from what looked like a cosmic courtroom. The beings were nothing like the friendly aliens from old movies. One looked like living crystal that pulsed with inner light. Another resembled a giant insect with too many eyes. A third appeared to be made of flowing metal that never held the same shape twice. All of them radiated power and ancient authority. The largest of the creatures spoke without moving what might have been its mouth. Its voice echoed inside every human leader's head like thunder. "We are the Galactic Council. For 100 years we have watched your species spread across your local star systems like a plague. You consume resources without asking permission. You build weapons instead of accepting our guidance. You refuse to bow to those who have ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years. The crystal being took over, its voice sharp as breaking glass. You have one solar cycle to send a delegation to the world you call Kepler 442b. There you will face judgment for your crimes against galactic order. Come prepared to surrender your independence and accept our rule, or face complete destruction." The metal creature's form shifted as it added, "Every civilized species has sent fleets of hundreds of ships to demonstrate their strength and secure favorable terms. We suggest you do the same, though it will not save you from justice." Then the vision ended, leaving Earth's leaders staring at empty air and wondering if they had all gone insane together. Within hours, every major government confirmed the same experience. This was no shared hallucination or enemy trick. Humanity had just received its first official contact from alien life, and it was a death sentence. Emergency meetings began immediately. In hidden bunkers and secure facilities around the world, humanity's best minds gathered to plan their response. The debates raged for days. Some wanted to surrender immediately and hope for mercy. Others demanded they send every warship Earth could build. A few suggested running away to distant stars and hiding. But in the deepest levels of the Geneva complex, a different kind of meeting was taking place. Admiral Park Sung-ho sat at the head of a table surrounded by people whose names never appeared in any government directory. These were the leaders of humanity's most secret projects, the ones that officially did not exist. "How long until the ship is ready?" Admiral Park asked. Dr. Elena Vasquez, a woman whose work had revolutionized physics 3 times over, checked her tablet. "The final systems integration will be complete in 6 weeks. All tests show green across the board." "And the crew?" Colonel Zhang Wei, head of the Special Operations Selection Committee, nodded. "Captain Lee Taman and his team have completed all training protocols. They understand the mission parameters, though not the full scope of what they will be carrying." Admiral Park stood and walked to the massive window overlooking the construction bay. Far below, hidden beneath kilometers of rock and steel, sat humanity's greatest achievement and most dangerous gamble. To anyone looking at it, the ship appeared to be a standard long-range explorer. It had the right size, the right shape, and all the right markings. Only a handful of people in the entire solar system knew what it really was. 37 people, Admiral Park said quietly. 37 souls to carry the hopes of 8 billion humans. Dr. Vasquez joined him at the window. "The calculations are solid. One ship really is all we need. If it works, it will work. The question is whether Captain Lee and his crew can handle the truth when the time comes." 3 weeks later, Captain Lee Taman stood in the briefing room aboard the ship that would either save or doom his species. He was 34 years old, born in Busan, and had spent his entire adult life preparing for a mission he never could have imagined. His dark eyes studied the faces of his crew as they received their final orders. Dr. Park So-young, the team's xenobiologist and diplomat, looked calm despite the impossible task ahead of her. She would be humanity's voice when they faced the alien tribunal. At 29, she had already mastered 12 languages and earned degrees in biology, psychology, and interstellar law. Engineer Kim Do-hyun sat beside her, his broad shoulders tense with concentration. He had designed half the systems on their ship, though even he did not know all of its secrets. At 31, he had revolutionized fusion technology and developed the theoretical framework for their propulsion systems. Lieutenant Choi Han-wool, their tactical officer, frowned as he studied the intelligence reports about alien military capabilities. 27 years old and trained in every form of combat known to humanity. He would be responsible for their defense if diplomacy failed. Specialist Yoon Ji-hae, their communications expert, monitored the alien message frequencies that had been detected since the initial contact. At 25, she could speak 8 languages and decode transmission protocols faster than most computers. Chief Medical Officer Kang Woo-jin, the oldest crew member at 36, had the job of keeping everyone alive and sane during their 3-month journey to Judgment. His kind eyes had seen too many young soldiers die, and he was determined not to lose anyone on this mission. These 6 officers led a crew of 37, each chosen not just for their skills but for their complete dedication to humanity's survival. They had volunteered knowing they would likely never return home. Captain Lee sealed the briefing documents and looked at his team. In 72 hours, we launch for Kepler 442b. Our official mission is diplomatic contact with the Galactic Council. Our real mission is to secure humanity's future, whatever the cost. Dr. Park raised her hand. Captain, the intelligence reports suggest we are facing a coalition of 12 species with technology thousands of years more advanced than ours. How can one ship make any difference against such odds? Captain Lee opened his safe and removed a sealed envelope marked with security codes he had never seen before. Earth Command has provided additional orders that I cannot open until we reach our destination. According to Admiral Park, these orders will answer all our questions about why humanity chose to send only one ship. Engineer Kim shook his head. With respect, sir, one ship against an entire galactic empire seems like suicide. Maybe, Captain Lee replied. Or maybe Earth Command knows something we do not. Either way, we have our orders. We launch in 3 days, and we complete our mission no matter what we find waiting for us. As the crew filed out to make their final preparations, Captain Lee stared at the sealed envelope that held humanity's secrets. In 3 months, he would learn why Earth's leaders had chosen to send 37 people in a single ship to face the combined might of 12 alien civilizations. He had no way of knowing that this one ship would change the balance of power in the galaxy forever. The sight that greeted them when they dropped out of hyperspace near Kepler 442b was beyond anything they had imagined. 3,000 alien warships filled the space around the planet like a metal storm. Each vessel was larger than anything humanity had ever built. Some looked like giant crystals that pulsed with energy. Others resembled massive insects with weapon ports along their sides. A few appeared to be living creatures made of metal and light. Captain Lee Tae-min stood on the bridge of his ship and felt very small. 37 humans in one vessel faced the combined military might of 12 alien civilizations. The enemy fleet could have destroyed Earth's entire space navy without breaking formation. Captain, Specialist Yoon Ji-hae reported from her communication station, "We are receiving multiple hails from the alien fleet. They seem surprised that we came alone." "Put it on speakers," Captain Lee ordered. The voice that filled the bridge was cold and mechanical. "Human vessel, identify yourself. Our sensors detect only one ship. Where is the rest of your fleet?" Dr. Park So-young looked at Captain Lee. As their diplomatic officer, she should respond. But Captain Lee held up his hand. "This is Captain Lee Tae-min of the Earth vessel Defiance. We are here as requested by the Galactic Council." "One ship?" The alien voice carried what might have been amusement. "Your species sends one small vessel to face judgment? This shows either great bravery or complete stupidity." Lieutenant Choi Han-wol checked his tactical displays. "Captain, I count 3,247 enemy vessels. Their combined firepower could turn a planet to dust." Engineer Kim Do-hyun was studying the ship schematics that Chief Engineer Lim had revealed to them.
"Captain, should I begin activating the hidden systems?"
"Not yet," Captain Lee replied. He turned to Dr. Park. "We try diplomacy first. If that fails, then we show them what humanity can do." The alien fleet escorted them to the planet's surface. Kepler 442b was a world of red stone and purple skies. Ancient structures covered its surface, built by species whose names were lost to time. At the planet's north pole stood a massive complex that looked like a cross between a courthouse and a fortress. As their ship landed in the designated area, Captain Lee opened the sealed envelope from Admiral Park Sung-ho. Inside were activation codes for systems he did not recognize and a simple message: "When diplomacy fails, show them what one human ship can do." The tribunal hall was enormous. It could have held 1,000,000 beings, but today it contained only the representatives of the 12 council species and 37 humans. Captain Lee led his crew into the chamber, their boots echoing on the stone floor. The council members sat on raised platforms arranged in a circle around the center of the room. Captain Lee recognized them from the vision that had been burned into every human leader's mind. The crystal being that pulsed with inner light. The giant insect with too many eyes. The creature made of flowing metal that never held the same shape twice. At the highest platform sat High Arbiter Vexthal, a being that looked like living diamond. Its voice filled the chamber without it moving what might have been its mouth. Humans of Earth, you stand accused of crimes against galactic order. How do you answer? Dr. Park stepped forward. She had practiced this speech for months. Honored members of the Galactic Council, humanity comes before you in peace. We seek understanding and cooperation between our species and yours. War Commander Nalgorak, the massive insectoid, clicked its mandibles in what might have been laughter. Peace? Your species has spread across 12 star systems in less than 100 years. You strip planets of resources without permission. You build weapons instead of accepting our guidance. We build weapons to defend ourselves, Dr. Park replied. We have been attacked by raiders from unknown species. We have the right to protect our colonies. Rights? High Arbiter Vexthal's crystalline form flared brighter. You speak of rights as if you were equals. Your species is barely 200,000 years old. We have ruled this galaxy for millions of years. You have no rights except those we grant you. Ambassador Silthara, a being that looked like it was made of flowing water, spoke in a softer tone. Young humans, you do not understand how the galaxy works. There is order here, structure. Every species has its place. We are trying to help you find yours. Captain Lee felt anger building in his chest. These beings spoke about humanity like they were children who needed discipline. And what place would that be? War Commander Nalgorak activated a holographic display. It showed human colonies being dismantled, human populations being moved to agricultural worlds, human children being separated from their parents. You will provide labor for the civilized species. Your worlds will provide resources for our expansion. Your military will be eliminated to prevent future problems. Dr. Park's diplomatic training kept her voice steady. You are talking about slavery. We prefer the term guided development, Ambassador Silthara replied. Every species in the Council went through this process. It is how we maintain peace and order. Chief Medical Officer Kang Woo-jin stepped forward. What about the species that refused? High Arbiter Vexthal's glow dimmed slightly. There are no species that refused. Eventually, all beings see the wisdom of accepting their proper place in the galactic order. Captain Lee understood now. The Galactic Council was not a confederation of equals. It was a pyramid with the oldest species at the top, and everyone else serving them. Every member had been conquered and broken until they accepted their role as either predator or prey. The trial is over, War Commander Nalgorak declared. Humanity will surrender 90% of its territory. Your population will be relocated to agricultural worlds. Your military will be disbanded. You have one local day to signal your acceptance or your homeworld will be destroyed. The chamber fell silent. 37 humans faced the combined power of 12 alien civilizations. The choice seemed simple, surrender or die. Captain Lee looked at his crew. Engineer Kim had his hand hovering over his control pad. Lieutenant Choi was reviewing tactical data. Specialist Yoon was monitoring the alien communications. Chief Medical Officer Kang was checking everyone's vital signs. Dr. Park was preparing to make humanity's final diplomatic plea. But Captain Lee was done with diplomacy. These beings did not want to negotiate. They wanted to dominate. They had done this same thing to countless species across the galaxy. They turned civilizations into servants and called it peace. Captain Lee walked to the center of the chamber. His voice echoed off the ancient stones as he gave humanity's answer to the Galactic Council's ultimatum. No. The single word hung in the air like a challenge. High Arbiter Vexthal's crystalline form flared with surprise. No, you refuse our generous offer? I refuse your slavery, Captain Lee replied. Humanity will not bow to tyrants who hide behind fancy titles and claim to represent order. War Commander Nalgorak rose from its platform, its massive form casting shadows across the chamber. Then you have chosen death. Our fleet will destroy your pathetic ship and then turn your homeworld into dust. Captain Lee smiled. It was not a pleasant expression. You are welcome to try. He pulled out the activation codes Admiral Park had given him and began entering them into his communicator. On his ship, systems that had been hidden for 3 months began to wake up. What happened next would be remembered across the galaxy for thousands of years. Captain Lee Taemin finished entering the activation codes and his ship began to change. The transformation was not visible at first. Deep inside the hull, systems that had been dormant for 3 months started to wake up. Power flowed through circuits made from materials that did not exist in any alien database. The ship's computer mind expanded beyond anything the Council species had ever imagined. On the bridge, engineer Kim Do-hyun watched his displays with growing amazement. "Captain, power levels are climbing beyond anything I have seen. The reactor is not just running on fusion anymore. It is drawing energy directly from space itself." Chief Engineer Lim Min-ho's voice came over the communication system from the engine room. "All hidden systems are now active. Captain, we are ready to show the galaxy what human engineering can accomplish." In the tribunal chamber, High Arbiter Vex Thul noticed something was wrong. Its crystalline sensors detected energy patterns that made no sense. "What is your ship doing, human?" Captain Lee looked up at the towering alien. "My ship is getting ready to teach you a lesson about underestimating humanity." War Commander Nalgorak activated its communication device. "All ships target the human vessel. Destroy it immediately." The first attack came from a squadron of Zentorian crystal ships. 50 vessels opened fire simultaneously with energy beams that could melt through a mountain. The beams struck the human ship and simply disappeared. The adaptive hull absorbed every joule of energy and converted it into power for the ship's own systems. Lieutenant Choi Han-wool, now connected to the ship's tactical systems through neural interface cables, could see and target every enemy vessel at once. His consciousness expanded to encompass the entire battle space. "Captain, I have firing solutions on all 3,247 enemy vessels." "Hold fire," Captain Lee ordered. "First, we give them a demonstration." He opened a communication channel to the alien fleet. "This is Captain Lee of the Earth vessel Defiance. You wanted to see what one human ship can do. Watch carefully." The ship's targeting system locked onto an uninhabited moon orbiting Kepler 442b. It was a dead rock about half the size of Earth's moon, with no life and no strategic value. Perfect for a demonstration. "Fire," Captain Lee commanded. What launched from their ship was not a missile or an energy beam. It was a tear in reality itself. The weapon reached across space and grabbed the moon with invisible hands made of twisted space-time. For a moment, the moon held together. Then it began to collapse inward as gravity went insane around it. The moon did not explode. It imploded. Matter compressed beyond the point where atoms could exist. A miniature black hole formed where the moon used to be, swallowing the debris before evaporating in a flash of radiation that painted the local space with impossible colors. The alien fleet fell silent. Their sensors could not explain what they had just witnessed. In 10 seconds, the humans had destroyed a celestial body using technology that appeared to rewrite the laws of physics. High Arbiter Vex Thul's voice carried a note of uncertainty for the first time in thousands of years. "What kind of weapon was that?" "That was a warning shot," Captain Lee replied. War Commander Nalgorak recovered first. Its warrior instincts overrode its shock. "All ships maximum firepower. Destroy that vessel now." The response was immediate. 3,000 alien warships opened fire at once. Energy beams, particle cannons, antimatter torpedoes, and weapons with no human names filled the space around the human ship. The combined firepower was enough to destroy a small planet. The human ship did not dodge. It did not activate shields. It simply absorbed everything. The adaptive metamaterial hull drank in the energy like a sponge absorbing water. Every shot that hit them made their own weapons more powerful. "Now it is our turn," Captain Lee said. The human ship began to fire back, but not with conventional weapons. It attacked from multiple dimensions at once. Some shots appeared to come from empty space beside enemy vessels. Others seemed to travel backward through time to hit targets before the weapons were fired. Alien ships found their hulls simply disappearing. Not destroyed or damaged, but edited out of existence as if they had never been built. Other vessels discovered their weapons turned to dust while their life support systems remained untouched. A few unlucky ships found themselves transported into deep space, their crews alive but their vessels stranded light years from help. The battle was not really a battle. It was a lesson in the difference between advanced technology and revolutionary technology. The aliens had spent thousands of years improving the same basic concepts. Humans had thrown out everything they thought they knew and started over from the beginning. Specialist Yoon Ji-hai monitored the alien communications as panic spread through their fleet. Captain, they are trying to retreat, but their engines are not responding. We have some kind of field around the entire battle area. Quantum entanglement web, Engineer Kim explained. Nothing gets in or out without our permission. Every alien ship in this system is now under our control. Within 30 minutes, the entire alien fleet was disabled. Not destroyed, not killed, but completely helpless. Their weapons would not fire. Their engines would not start. Their communication systems worked only when the human ship allowed them to work. Ambassador Silthara's watery form rippled with confusion as it tried to contact its home world. This is impossible. Our technology is thousands of years more advanced than yours. How are you doing this? Dr. Park So-young answered from the bridge of their ship. You have been improving the same technology for thousands of years. We spent 200 years inventing completely new technology. There is a difference between being old and being innovative. High Arbiter Vexthul's crystalline form had dimmed to almost nothing. What do you want from us? Captain Lee stood in the tribunal chamber, no longer looking small despite being surrounded by beings twice his size. We want you to understand something very important. Humanity did not send thousands of ships because we do not need thousands of ships. We sent one ship because one ship is enough. War Commander Nalgorak's mandibles clicked nervously. You could have sent more ships like this? We could have sent 10,000 ships like this, Captain Lee replied. But we are not conquerors. We do not want to rule the galaxy. We want you to stop trying to rule us. The alien leaders looked at each other with growing understanding. Humanity had not revealed their hidden strength because they were desperate. They had revealed it because they were confident. They were not trying to join the galactic power structure. They were offering to tear it down and build something better. Chief Medical Officer Kang Woo-jin's voice came over the communication system. Captain, we are receiving surrender signals from over 2,000 alien vessels. The rest are requesting permission to leave the system. Captain Lee nodded. Grant permission to any ship that wants to leave. But first, they need to hear humanity's real offer. He opened a communication channel to every alien vessel and every member world of the Galactic Council. His words would reach across the galaxy within hours, carrying a message that would change everything. This is Captain Lee Taemin, speaking for humanity. We did not come here to conquer you. We came here to free you. Captain Lee Taemin's words echoed across the galaxy as Specialist Yoon Ji-hai broadcast his message to every inhabited world. We did not come here to conquer you. We came here to free you. The response was immediate and chaotic. On 1,000 worlds, species that had served the Galactic Council for millennia suddenly realized that liberation was possible. The pyramid of power that had dominated the galaxy for millions of years began to crumble in a matter of hours. High Arbiter Vexthul's crystalline form flickered with confusion. Free us, we are the Galactic Council. We are the rulers of this galaxy. What could you possibly free us from? Dr. Park So-young stepped forward in the tribunal chamber. You can free yourselves from the lie that this system represents order. Look around you. How many species chose to join the council willingly? How many were conquered and forced to accept their place in your hierarchy? The silence that followed was telling. Ambassador Silthara's watery form rippled with what might have been shame. War Commander Nalgorak's mandibles clicked nervously. Even the other council members seemed uncomfortable with the question. Captain Lee activated his ship's communication system. Computer, display the historical records we downloaded from the council database during the battle. Holographic images filled the tribunal chamber. They showed the conquest of species after species. Each one followed the same pattern. A peaceful civilization would be discovered by council scouts. They would be given an ultimatum: join the council as servants or face destruction. Those who resisted were crushed. Those who submitted became part of the machine that would conquer the next species. The hegemony was conquered 4,000 years ago, Dr. Park narrated as the images played. The Xantorians were crushed 6,000 years ago. The Etherians submitted 8,000 years ago. None of you chose this system. You were all victims before you became victimizers. High Arbiter Vexthul's glow dimmed further. This is how the galaxy works. The strong rule the weak. There is no other way. There is always another way, Captain Lee replied. Humanity offers you that other way. Engineer Kim Do-hyun transmitted new data to every ship in the system. technical specifications for fusion reactors that were twice as efficient as anything the Council used, medical technology that could cure diseases that had plagued alien species for centuries, agricultural techniques that could feed billions more beings using the same resources. This is what cooperation looks like, Kim explained over the communication system. Instead of taking resources from conquered species, we share knowledge that makes everyone stronger. Lieutenant Choi Han-wol, still connected to the ship's tactical systems, monitored the reactions across the alien fleet. Captain, I am detecting massive communication traffic between the alien ships. Some are requesting permission to leave immediately. Others are asking for more information about our technology sharing proposal. The Galactic Council's power structure was dissolving before their eyes. Species that had served the system for thousands of years were suddenly questioning everything they had been told. If humanity could offer better technology freely, why had the Council hoarded knowledge and forced others to serve for scraps? Chief Medical Officer Kang Woo-jin's voice came over the communication system. Captain, we are receiving medical emergency signals from 17 different species. They are asking if our healing technology can help with genetic damage caused by thousands of years of living under Council population controls. Captain Lee looked at his senior staff. Dr. Park, what is our official position on providing medical aid? Our orders from Earth Command are clear, Dr. Park replied. We help anyone who asks for help. No conditions, no requirements for submission or service. War Commander Nalgorak stood abruptly on its platform. This is ridiculous. You cannot simply give away advanced technology to primitive species. There must be order. There must be control. Why? Captain Lee asked simply. Because... Nalgorak's mandibles clicked frantically. Because that is how it has always been done. That is not a reason, Dr. Park said gently. That is just habit. Ambassador Silthera's form shifted nervously. But if we give technology freely, how do we maintain stability? How do we prevent chaos? Chief Engineer Lim Minho's voice answered from the ship. You prevent chaos by making sure everyone has what they need to survive and prosper. Chaos comes from desperation, not from abundance. The debate continued for hours, but the real decision was being made in space around the planet. One by one, alien ships were choosing sides. Some remained loyal to the old Council system, unable to imagine any other way of life. But many more were accepting humanity's offer of partnership instead of servitude. The breakthrough came when Ambassador Silthara made an announcement that shocked everyone. The Etherian Collective hereby withdraws from the Galactic Council and requests to begin negotiations with humanity for a mutual cooperation agreement. High Arbiter Vexthul's crystalline form flared with rage. You cannot withdraw. The Council is eternal. The Council exists because its members choose to remain, Silthara replied. If the members choose to leave, then the Council no longer exists. Within the next hour, 7 more species announced their withdrawal from the Council. They formed a new alliance with humanity at its center, not as rulers but as partners. The new alliance's first act was to share fusion technology with all member species. The second was to establish medical aid stations for any species that needed help. War Commander Nalgorak and 3 other Council species refused to accept the new reality. They declared war on the Alliance and retreated to their home systems, promising to return with larger fleets and more powerful weapons. Captain Lee watched them leave without interference. Let them go. When they are ready to choose cooperation over domination, they will know where to find us. High Arbiter Vexthul remained on its platform, its crystalline form dim and flickering. This will not last. Order will be restored. The strong will always rule the weak. Dr. Park looked up at the ancient being with something that might have been pity. You have been strong for millions of years, and what has it brought you? Fear from your subjects, isolation from potential friends, and a galaxy where half the species live in terror, while the other half plot rebellion. Is that really the order you want to preserve? The old Arbiter had no answer. 6 months later, Captain Lee stood on the observation deck of his ship now orbiting Earth. The view was spectacular. Hundreds of alien vessels filled the space around humanity's homeworld. But these were not conquerors. They were partners, students, and friends who had come to share knowledge and culture. The crew of the Defiance had become heroes, not for their victory in battle, but for their choice to show mercy and offer hope instead of demanding submission. Dr. Park had become Earth's first galactic ambassador. Engineer Kim led a team of human and alien scientists working on technologies that would benefit everyone. Lieutenant Choi trained security forces for worlds that wanted to defend themselves without conquering others. Chief Medical Officer Kang had perhaps the most important job of all. He led medical teams that traveled to former council worlds, healing the damage caused by thousands of years of genetic manipulation and population control. His work saved billions of lives and gave countless species hope for a better future. The galaxy was not perfect. Some species still chose isolation over cooperation. A few remained loyal to the old council system and continued their ancient practices of conquest and domination. But for the first time in millions of years, there was an alternative. Species could choose partnership instead of servitude, cooperation instead of conquest. Captain Lee thought about the question that had given their story its title. Why did humanity send only one ship? The answer had become clear during their long journey home. They sent one ship because they were not trying to conquer the galaxy. They were offering it a choice. One ship was enough to demonstrate humanity's power. One ship was enough to prove that alternatives existed. One ship was enough to show that the strong could choose to lift up the weak instead of crushing them. And sometimes, when you are offering hope instead of demanding submission, one ship is all you need.